What's up, everybody? How we doing tonight? Pat here. Grateful, recovering alcoholic addict, like always, right? Every day. Today's Sunday, beautiful day, right? Beginning of February, new month and new year. Feeling pretty excited about it, right? All right. We've been talking, and I was talking to my brother last night. He brought up a good point. I keep talking about this, getting yourself in alignment, and many of you may not understand what that means. Okay. So I'm going to explain what it is for me anyway, and how I got to this point. Again, when I was walking in, struggling in addiction, just, trying to survive and just, reacting to the shit that I was getting myself into, or just trying to get through the day, reacting to, again, it's reactionary, survival mode. You guys know what I'm talking about. And, as a few months back, somebody asked me to say a prayer one night. I hadn't prayed in decades, and I said a prayer, and I felt a little bit lighter, right? It didn't, it wasn't some remarkable, life changing thing, but it felt good. Good enough that the next night, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to say a prayer again tonight. So I started praying every night. And again, all I was praying for was to show me my path, let me walk in His light, because I knew I wasn't where I was supposed to be. The things that I've been through and dealing with, and the shit I was accepting for myself and allowing for myself, I knew life is not supposed to be this way, but for some reason I couldn't ever seem to get myself out of it. Right? Like no matter what I did, I'd have moments of clarity, and I'd take a new job, work real hard, and get some good opportunities. But regardless, my day-to-day decisions and my overall outlook kept leading me back to the same places, which was, using drugs, getting high to get out of my head, or to be Superman at work, or, whatever. And the more I prayed, the more I just realized that I just didn't want it anymore, right? So it started to getting me to the point where I wanted, I always wanted more, but it got me to the point where I was ready to do something about it. And that took me into rehab. And once I was in rehab for 10 or 12 days, and I actually got the drugs out of my system, and I could actually function and think, because the first 12 days were brutal, guys. I'm not gonna lie. And you can do it smarter than I did. I didn't take any medication for 12 days, and not the brightest way to go about it. Okay. And then I realized that I had to get on Suboxone to get the Sublocade, which is what I'm on right now. I'm doing the Sublocade. As a matter of fact, I have my second injection on Tuesday. Right? No, I'm sorry. What day? Today is the. Look at my calendar, guys. Sorry. Monday the third, Wednesday the fifth. Okay, so yeah, I'm getting my third injection, my second injection on Wednesday the fifth, and I'm excited. And the Sublocade for me has been fantastic, right? No cravings, no issues. There's no withdrawals walking away from it. There's no narcotic effect to it. So I like it, and it's a monthly injection, and even if you were to happen to slip, you can't get high off of opiates, which is why I take it. Now again, with everything else I've done, I have no desire, and I don't think I'm ever going to. But again, it's just a backup plan, and I'm trying to give myself every option in early recovery. Many things I'm going to once and saying, okay, well that's not for me, but this is what I need. But so that's kind of the point of getting in alignment. Okay, is as you start to get clear and start to get your head back together, stopping, and whether you do it through counseling, through therapy, through prayer, through meditation, it's whatever works for you. For me, it was prayer, and I guess prayer is technically a form of meditation, really. But I've been doing guided meditations, and I'm doing a lot through prayer, and that's when I started to realize that, okay, well, let's look at who you are. Look at who we're speaking I terms here. Look at who I am. What am I doing? What am I projecting? What am I happy with? What am I unhappy with? And it was like, all right, well, I had to start getting real with who I am, and I want to be. I've been running around, great mechanic, anything with a nut and bolt, plumbing, appliance repair. I mean, I do all sorts of stuff, right? Comes very natural to me, and that's fine. So I'm a skilled craftsman. I'm okay with that. That's a good thing. But what I had to realize is I'm running around trying to portray or trying to live the life of this, like, badass tough guy biker, and I'm not. It's just that's not who I am. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have my Harley Davidson. I love my Harley. It's my prized possession. It's the one thing. And it's an old chip box. It's nothing special. It's an '84 FXRS. I'm still rebuilding. All right. But again, that's my pride and joy, and I will always have that. I will never let that thing go unless I replace it with something newer. But I'm going to have a Harley for the rest of my life now because I love motorcycles. I enjoy that, and that's great. But just because I ride a Harley doesn't mean I got to run around acting like I'm some badass biker, because I'm not. I don't go around looking for fights. I don't go to bars. I don't throw beer bottles around. I don't intimidate people. I don't try to intimidate people. I don't, that's, and again, I love bikers. Most of my friends are bikers. But again, at the end of the day, I have to understand that that's not who I am. And we're going to get personal. We're going to deep with this, guys, all right? I'm going to throw myself right out there. One of the hardest things, and the reason I was so out of alignment, is everybody has masculine and feminine energy. All right, it doesn't make you, it doesn't make you gay, and it's not about sexuality. It's just energy. It's just simple energy. All right. Well, my personality, I'm more of a nurturer. Like again, reason I'm doing these videos, I get joy from helping people, and even though I knew that in my personal relationships, I would portray that, and even in in professional relationships, like that's what I go for. But again, the life that I was leading wasn't playing into my strength, playing into who I really am at heart, right? So I had to accept the fact that technically my polarity is a divine feminine energy. A hard thing to accept, right? I mean, I've been through everything, as you know that. But it's what it is. And once you start realizing that, well, what exactly does that mean? All right, well, that's more of the introspective, spiritual. It's more of just more the nurturing type person. In other words, because I do better in a life of service, right? I like to help other people. That's where I get my greatest joy from. Seeing a car broken down the side of the road, stopping and going to great lengths to the point where people look at me like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, and literally, like, because I will. I'm like, all right, I'm going to get you out of the situation. Because I take it on as a personal challenge to myself at that point. I like being able to overcome challenges. I like to be able to figure shit out. And I'll spend 2 or 3 hours on the side of the road, go get a part if I have, and come back, get the car running. And people are like, oh my God, what's this guy's going to try and rob me? Like, literally, I could see the fear. And here I am trying to do something nice to let people know that there's still good people in the world. But I'm going to an extent that they're really getting nervous because, oh, this guy's really setting me up for a fall here. And it's a lot of fun when I get them running. They're like, okay, well, no, you're all set. This is my gift to humanity. I see a car broken in, I stop and do whatever I can to get you going. You don't owe me nothing, regardless of my situation at the time. It's just one of the things I've always done. But I had to look at that and like, why have I been doing that for 40 years? 35 years. Since I was old enough to be able to fix it. And regardless, I'm talking. I was doing that when I was homeless, living on the streets, guys. Right? Because that's what lights my soul up. That's what makes me happy. That's why I've committed to doing these videos, and thinking about expanding it in other areas. But again, it's about understanding that I'm a nurturing person, right? So I'm working from my divine feminine energy. Now I also had to heal my divine masculine energy because I was not being assertive. I would work more of like, try and intimidate so you didn't take advantage of me because my personal nature was just to let people walk all over me because I had divine masculine wounds, all right? I mean, look into this stuff, guys. It's amazing when you actually start figuring out, because like I said, everybody has both within you, right? It's the duality of life. It's literally. And as you start to understand these things and you can master them, you can work with them, you start getting real healing and real growth. And I know a lot of people, but I don't care. It's all good because this is my reality. This is what's working for me. Okay. So, and I'm sitting there on camera admitting all you guys, yeah. And I tell you, I struggle with this, guys. Hard. I mean, I'm like, what do you mean divine feminine? No, like, yeah, and but it's not. It's not about sexuality. It's about energy. It's about what matters to you. And again, we both have both. Now, I'm healing my divine masculine and being more assertive. Okay, understanding my self worth, my boundaries, not letting people just take. If I'm not in a situation now where it's not an even give and take, I'm out of there. Simple as that, because that's the other thing, guys. The universe, God, whatever you want to call it, I call it God, but again, I also call it laws of the universe, okay? If you have a major imbalance in your life, then you're going to continue, and that's what you're accepting, and then that you're fighting against it. Well, you're putting energy into that, and you're going to keep getting more and more of that because that's what God or the universe sees that's what you want because that's where you're putting your energy, right? So you put your energy into what you want, but we don't. Often we just end up so far out of balance that we're fighting at something, trying to get away from injustice. But if you don't overcome it and heal yourself and come at it from a different point, you're just going to keep attracting the same thing, and that's what I was doing. Okay. For 40 years, I was out there attracting the same bullshit that I was trying to get away from. But again, I couldn't because I was throwing all my energy into it. and signaling to the world that this is what I want. This is my reality. This is, this is what I'm thinking about and about talking about and acting on. Instead of just laying it down and stopping for a month or two and healing the parts of you that are broken. And then when you could re-enter life, re-enter it from the new aspect, right? Like literally, there was a couple of relationships that I had that were out of balance that I really haven't spoken of. Most of my family most of my family don't even know about them. But I was in a situation where I was getting almost like a high out of hanging out with somebody while I was getting high, and it was making me feel good, and it was basically puffing up my ego, so I was just leading into it hard, and it really wasn't. There was a lot of I still don't know all of it, and I don't care to know all of it, but what I had to understand was I was in an incredibly unbalanced relationship, somebody that outwardly cared deeply about me, but at the same time was just doing some things that were so out of whack. But I was forgiving it on a daily basis because I just wanted to stay in this person's, day-to-day life, and that's not right. Like it was not helping me. It was and it was a hard thing to do because there's a lot of really good qualities in this person, and I was developing a very deep relationship with her, and it just, but again, it wasn't healthy, and it was one of the catalysts that put me in rehab because I put so much into this and just finally woke up one day and said, I'm forgiving this person, I'm forgiving her for the same things over and over again. Like, it's not changing no matter what I'm told. And, at some point you gotta accept it is what it is. And it's, I'm not mad, I'm not upset about it, but I'm like, okay, I gotta stop and figure out why am I allowing this? Like, and if I would, when I was all high, I'm telling myself because I'm such a great person, I can forgive anything. Yeah, forgive, but don't let it keep happening, guys. And that's what I had to do. And so I laid that down, and I said, well, if I'm going to lay that down, and the other thing is I've got this crazy imbalanced relationship with drugs, with sobriety. I'm letting a substance rule my life, and that's, come on, like nobody's going to tell you that's fucked up, right? I mean, come on, it's terrible. Literally every dime I made, and I made really good money, went to drugs. It got to the point where I was literally going to meet 2 drug dealers on Friday to give my entire paycheck and then start cuffing towards next week's paycheck right off the bat. And it was just a situation you're never, ever going to get anywhere with because no matter what I did and what more I made, and it was gone, right? So, okay, so now I got to lay that down. So I go in and I go into rehab and I do that and I do this and I get spiritual and I start talking to God and literally like really talking to God. I'm talking praying constantly and getting quiet and not asking crazy shit, but just being from the heart. I mean, guys, there was times I was praying in tears even though I was feeling good. But just like the emotions I'm starting to feel, because that's the other thing. When you're doing drugs like I did for 40 years, you don't feel. Like that's why I did drugs, to not feel. Well, as I started to feel, a lot of emotions are coming up. And I'm going to tell you straight up, guys. I mean, I was crying before I went to rehab. And that's the thing. But that's how I knew I was time to give it up. Because all of a sudden I'm starting to feel shit. Because I'm praying and I'm asking for help. And I'm starting to feel stuff because I want to. I want to heal, right? So literally, my first couple weeks in rehab, it was brutal for me. Because every time I would try and talk to anybody, not that I was upset, but just every time I'd go to speak, my voice would start to crack up. My eyes would start to tear up. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I can't even communicate, right? But that told me that is the amount of trauma and baggage that I have to deal with here, right? So I started to deal with it. And again, I just had to suck it up. And I go in with these counselors and tell them, listen, I'm sorry. I'm going through a lot right now. I've been asking God for help. He's answering me. He's giving me a lot of introspective, but I got a lot to do. And just, forgive me. I'm not upset, and don't think I'm suicidal or something. Just every time I start to talk, I start breaking up and, basically fucking sound like I'm stop bawling. Not that I'm bawling, but I'm, my voice is cracking, my eyes are watering, and I'm starting to cry, basically what it comes down to, right? And that's okay, because I was healing and I was working through these emotions. And literally, this went on for weeks, guys. Like, I'm in a group with 36 men, in rehab, and I have to, I literally got to the point where I can either sit there and shut up, or I'm just gonna suck it up, and these guys are just gonna, it is what it is. I don't care. And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm here to heal myself, man. I don't care. I don't know these guys, and when I walk away from them, most of them I'll never see again anyway. So whatever. So I got, I'm sure I heard a few people say, the crier guy, yeah, all right. So I'm a crier. Right? It is what it is. I'm healing. I tell you what, I get a hell of a lot more out of that rehab than a lot of people do because I was willing to let that happen. Whatever your path is, whatever you got to heal from, and whatever reactions you get from it, that's all part of getting in alignment, right? So I dealt through that. And as a matter of fact, guys, I still get emotional a little bit. Not emotional, but like I still have moments where I realize something really good is coming. I'll put a song on, and literally all of a sudden I get choked up for a second. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm still healing, and I'm still having a hard time accepting that I am who I am, and I do. I've gotten to the point where I really love who I am. But now the universe is starting to treat that, and I'm starting to get all these opportunities, right? And I walk away laughing, like, woohoo, I'm so excited. And then an hour later, I'll think about how much good I got coming in my life, and I'll start to get choked up because I'm still healing. Anyway, we're getting off topic here, regardless. But again, just letting you guys know because you know what, there's somebody out there going through the same thing, and I want it's okay, and it goes away. Like I'm sitting here on camera doing videos, and I couldn't even talk at the beginning of the situation because literally I would get choked up. But that's all part of letting you know you're getting into alignment. Your body's healing. You. So again, as I started praying more, I realized, well, I've got to lay down the negativity. So I did. I let go of all the negativity, and I just started focusing on the good. And if I had really very little going on, then I'm like, you know what? I woke up. I'm still breathing. I go to the doctors. I found out I beat Hep C. My body fought off hepatitis C. I have no diseases. I'm on no medications other than the Sublocade that I choose to be on. My blood pressure's great at 51, and the hell that I put myself through. Started going to the gym. That makes me feel good, so I'm healing my physical body. This is getting in alignment. But at the same time, it's also praying and meditating and starting to find what matters to you. Like, what is my true purpose here? Well, my purpose is to heal other people with my experience, okay? Fantastic. I love it, right? Everybody's going to have a different journey. You're going to have a different purpose. This video is going to be a little bit longer, but I'm in the middle of this, and I feel this is really important. So we're going to keep going. If you guys are still with me, great. I appreciate it. And if it matters to you, you should still be here, right? And if it doesn't, then you don't have to watch it. Simple as that. But anyway, so that was how I got into alignment, is I starting to figure out who I am, and literally who I am at heart, and then starting to tailor my life. So now I get out of rehab. I'm $6,000 in debt, just in rent. Never mind the other bills, credit card, this, that, the other. I'm still dealing with. But I'm like, I go back to my job, and I'm like, no, this isn't it. Like, I'm not happy there on a day-to-day basis. I'm just not. It's no longer in alignment because again, I'm starting to find the things that really matter to me, and I'm like, this isn't it. Because I've had business. I'm like, maybe I'm supposed to be working for myself, or maybe I'm supposed to go back to school, or. So I signed up for a course for, addiction counseling, and I'm doing that rather than working because, this is what I'm focusing on now, right? Because it's a lot to lay down. So now I've laid down everybody I talked to, everybody I cared about, the drugs that were literally like my safety net, and now the job that gives me any kind of security and helps me pay my bills. That's some scary shit, right? And basically what I'm saying is I just walked away from my entire life. Literally everything that defined who I am. But guys, that's okay because none of that was who I really was. And as soon as I started doing that, new doors are opening. My landlord's throwing me side work. I'm getting, basically I've been jammed. I'm barely finding time for myself, but I'm trying to get away from that because I need more time for myself. I'm making all my appointments, but I'm making that the focus. And I'm still paying my bills at the end of the week. I'm still end up generating the same amount of money in different ways at the end of the week, or if not more, and things are only getting better. And it was scary and it was hard, but I had to do it because it's literally that's what I mean by getting in alignment. Talking to God, talking to God has made me stop and realize the blessings I have and how much I really do have. And doing this and being positive and doing this work, my family's all come back in. Like I said, I talk about it almost every video now. I get an open group chat with my brothers and sister. And I got to start reaching out to more family as well because, like, people are starting to see that this is real. This is who I am now, and they like that, right? And again, finding my soul's purpose, which is helping others through my experience, which makes it all make sense. Because why else would I have stayed out there doing what I did for as long as I did if it wasn't that I was meant to come back and use it to help somebody else get out of the darkness, get into the light. So that's what getting alignment is, guys. It's finding who you are, finding out what's wrong with you or what's broken, what's wounded, and healing those wounds, fixing what's broken, finding a higher power and giving him gratitude. Like I said every time, you can probably tell from my attitude more or less, like, I love me, I love my life, I love God. That's gratitude. I have so much gratitude for the little things. And as I'm being grateful for the little things, the bigger things are starting to come in. And again, nothing's going to happen overnight, but I guarantee you by this time next year, my life is going to look a whole hell of a lot different than it does right now because I'm different than I've ever been. Right now, my exterior life is a reflection of who I've been. What's coming in now is a reflection of who I am, okay? Who you are now predicts your future. Who you had been predicts your present, okay? Simple as that. Alignment. In alignment, out of alignment, all right? All right, we're hitting the 20-minute mark, so we're going to start wrapping this up. But guys, remember, please, find a higher power. Get to a counselor. Get into a detox. Or again, I think we're kind of, I've got a lot of videos of what to do in the early stages. I am going to do something that tells my story. I'm thinking about maybe doing a live, and then it'll be available for anybody who wants to watch it, whatever, okay? I'm figuring that out. But again, if you're an addict and you're struggling, get into a program. And once you're in the program, pay attention. Don't be afraid. Don't feed into what everybody else is doing while you're there, because that's just a waste of time. That's warehousing. Don't go there for warehousing. Go there for the help. I reached out. I took the help, right? I made some good friends. It was only, out of the 36 guys there, 5 or 6 of them with people I talked to openly, honestly, on a daily basis. Other people I was just friendly with, because I'm a friendly guy. But I'll never see them again. I don't care what they thought. I don't care that they saw me fucking, or heard me cracking, my voice cracking up. I don't care. Because I got the help. When I walked out that day, everybody in the staff lined up to give me a hug, and they're like, you know what? We see you want this. We're proud of you. And that's great. And again, I'm not doing it for them either. But you know what? That's the recognition. People see when you're trying to do things right, and they want to help you. Everybody I run into now wants to go out of their way to help me because they see how hard I'm working on changing my life and reaching out and trying to help somebody else out. And on top of that, just reaching out and offering a hand or a smile or a friendly word of encouragement to anybody I run into on a day-to-day basis. Get in alignment with what matters to you, and making people, myself and other people around me, feel better is who I am, okay? I'm a healer of some sort. We're figuring that out, but that's getting in alignment. So again, get into a program you need to. If you're not an addict, try what I'm saying, man. Find a higher power. Look at the things that piss you off and bother you, and find out what it stems from. Heal that. That's getting in alignment. Stop taking it. You can never change what happens on your outside. What am I trying? I'm trying to think of the word I'm trying to say. You can't change the situations that happen outside of yourself, but you can change the way you react to them. And when you start changing the way you react to them, the things that are in your external environment start to change to your reactions and who you are and what you do. So keep that in mind, guys, because you can literally change your entire life in a really, really short period of time. I'm telling you for a fact because I have. I've done it, and it's getting really nice, really fast. So again, remember, guys, God loves you. I love you. If nobody else has told you that today, I do. I mean it from the heart. We're all brothers and sisters here. Don't care where you are, where you're from, what you've done. Makes no difference because I've been there, done that, all right, and probably 10 times worse. So, again, if I can do this, you can do this. God loves you. I love you. Be safe. Get help. Help somebody else, okay? Thank you. See you in the next one.